Hi, my name's Nicole Sligar with Chloe's Fairy Cottage, and I love listening to Happy Earth Market podcast. You should too.
What's so funny, you little girl?
That was awesome. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to Happy Earth Market podcast, everyone.
Welcome.
This is Entrepreneurs episode.
Yes.
Hiya.
I'm Sam,
I'm Nathan.
And I'm JR.
and today our entrepreneur is
Nicole Sligar, but I like to go by Nicki.
Nicki. And who else do we have here?
Chloe!
With the best radio voice ever.
How old are you, Chloe?
4.
You're
4.
4.
A whole 4.
When do you turn 5?
May 28.
May 28th.
Oh.
Neato. That's coming up really soon.
Really quick.
And for my birthday, I'm going to California to go to Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland.
Nice.
I would love to
Dreams
come, maybe.
come
I
true.
know we talked about it. We'll see if we can make it, okay?
Okay.
That would be really
Okay.
neat if we came. So, Nicki, what do you do?
I have a business with my daughter Chloe,
Mm-hmm.
and we call it, what's the name of your business?
Chloe's Fairy Cottage. And the meaning of it is to reintroduce people to the herbs, oils, and teas,
Aww.
benefiting your health.
Benefiting my health. Wow, that sounds really intriguing. What do you sell?
Herbs, oils, and teas, and fairy stuff.
Fairy
Fairy
stuff?
stuff.
What is a fairy?
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell stuff?
Like Tinkerbell
like
powder.
Disney character stuff? That's what you sell?
What?
Huh?
What fairy?
Or
We're
fairy?
all
What kind of fairy
fairies.
are you?
I'm an artist fairy.
Artist fairy.
Oh.
What kind of fairy am I?
An artist fairy.
Mm-hmm.
And a fairy fairy.
A fairy
A
fairy.
fairy
fairy.
Oh, there's fairy fairies? I didn't know.
The fairest of them all.
The fairest of the fairies?
Yes.
She's a fairy. She even sells fairy stuff. That's why I said fairy.
Oh.
Oh, that
Okay,
makes
that's
sense.
kind of creepy.
To the great fairy.
No,
A little bit.
So what does our store look like?
It looks like a motorhome, but inside it looks beautiful.
Inside it looks like a fairy cottage.
And
huh?
it's purple. I've seen it. I've been inside. It's really, really pretty out on the outside. It's a big, bright purple RV.
Yep.
Yep.
And where
Yeah.
do we go with our RV?
Everywhere. Like downtown Summerlin.
Mm-hmm. To like farmers markets and stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
First
I
Friday.
bet you guys meet a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah?
We go to 2 farmers markets.
2.
2 of them.
Ooh.
Sounds like a busy schedule.
Yep.
It's fun when we meet little friends that are excited to meet Chloe. They've never met a famous person before.
Aw.
I even sell artwork. That's why I'm an artist.
Oh, I
Fairy.
see.
Oh, that sounds so cool. What kind of stuff do you art?
All kinds of stuff.
And ladybugs
Puppies.
and puppies.
Puppies.
Dancing puppies.
So what made you want to start Chloe's Fairy's Cottage?
I've spent the last 10 years studying herbs,
Mm-hmm.
and I've come to realize that nature has provided us with a lot of gifts to support our health. I studied under Angela Harris that owns Herbally Grounded. Absolutely fell in love with her philosophy about herbs. Her philosophy is kind of like, just eat them.
Just
And-
eat them?
Yeah. And, she had been diagnosed with cancer when she was 6 months pregnant with
Oh,
her,
wow.
I think, 6th child.
Oof.
She has 9 kids, and she pretty much raised them on herbs, and the doctors told her that she probably wouldn't see her child be born, and she wasn't willing to accept that. And so she started doing research on herbs and found a protocol that worked for her, and that child of hers now helps run her store.
So it's been that long.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah, and so she created this protocol, and people would come to her like, how did you do this? How did you heal yourself?
Mhm.
She said, well, I didn't. My body healed itself, and I
Right.
just gave it nutrients that it needed to do its job.
That's amazing.
Earth healed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Exactly.
It's so cool. It's our medicine.
There was so much demand for what she was doing that she made these formulas and started
Mhm.
producing them. And so her husband runs the factory. She now owns a colonic store too, and one of her daughters runs that. And so
Oh,
it's
wow.
truly a family business. But occasionally she will teach classes, and I was able to get in on some of those classes, and it was life changing. And it was actually those classes that opened my eyes to the GMO
movement,
the anti-GMO movement, where I subsequently met you wonderful people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
The
fun.
GMO movement was a blast. I had a great time. That was my first really push into activism, and yours too. Actually, to just tell a quick story real quick, our first activism thing where we actually went and protested was for the Second Amendment, which I still support, but
I'm
it's
not
just funny.
surprised by that.
Which is funny. That was the first one. We were out there with signs: "Don't take our guns" and "Don't tread on me" flags,
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember that one.
it was a lot of fun. Sorry,
Yeah.
I digress, but
No, but it's true. I mean, that you have to start somewhere, right?
yeah. And then the GMO movement, man, you guys should explain that. What a crazy fun time that was.
So shortly
Yeah.
after my daughter was born, I started thinking really hard about GMOs and how they would potentially affect her. And, I did my best to eat organic while I was pregnant. And then, I breastfed her until she was about 3.5. I just really tried to focus on creating a good, healthy habit when it came to food for her. And still to this day, sure, she loves candy. She loves junk, just like anyone else. But when there's a buffet in front of her, she's making healthy choices. She's
That's nice.
choosing the veggies. She's choosing the fruit. Yeah, she wants a cookie too, but she's making good, much better food choices than I did at her age, and most children at her
But she's
age.
making food choices at her age, and that's amazing. Like, I didn't make
Mhm.
food choices. I ate what was given, or
Up until
you know.
very recently, actually.
But
I'll have a latte.
they, Tammy Canal decided that she wanted to do this march against Monsanto, and I got fired up about it, and a couple other people got fired up about it, and so we came together on Facebook and started having these meetings and planning it, and all of a sudden the whole city came behind us.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
I used my resources and my flyer distribution company, and Angie Morelli, who's just a brave, crazy warrior chick that just
Yeah, for sure.
She's a veteran too.
Yeah, and she's a veteran.
Yeah, she's a Marine Corps veteran.
And then Jody Mulliver, who has this really incredible background at producing events. And so the three of us came together and with a lot of other people from the community, and we did that first march, and ours was one of the most successful in the country and also in the world.
How many people were at that march? I've heard it debated.
I think they said 3,000.
3,000?
That's what the police
Yeah.
We're talking about the first one,
The
right?
first one, the great one with the GMO chef spoke.
I know we shut
right?
down Vegas Boulevard for a minute.
Yeah.
It took a long time for us to get to the sign and back.
No one
for sure.
expected
so
it.
many people.
No one expected
We
it
didn't
to be that
expect because
big.
we were there early to set up the tables and to talk with I think Real Water, like get them in the right place and meet up with Angie. And like before I knew it, after everything was set up, I look around and I couldn't see.
There are people
There's
coming
so
from everywhere.
many people. There,
Yes.
as far as I could see, there was people. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. We really are gonna stop Monsanto. I was so
I think one of my favorite parts about it was, that's a truck line. A lot of the big semis go through there.
Yeah, they do.
And having the semis regularly pass through and honking
And
for
honk,
us.
yeah.
It was so cool. Because they're listening to talk radio and they know what's
Right.
up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're either listening to some hate on us or some good press on us. Either way, they're hearing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with GMOs. I think the funniest part about any GMO march we ever did, and we'll go back to the story in a second, was when we did the El Dorado parade, right? What was it? The
El Dorado
parade?
Uh-huh.
And that guy from Channel 8's like, I own stock in Monsanto. I was like, you are such a jerk.
Just stick to the script,
Yeah.
dude.
I remember
Yeah,
how
you
mad
would-
you were at
you'd
that.
give him
I
a
was so
script.
mad. So the next year when we did it, I made sure to make a note on there: stick to the script. Your input is not welcome. Like that. Angie wrote them nasty letters.
I thought it was rude. I thought it was really rude.
It was really rude.
Funny, but rude. Like,
Yeah.
what a
It was
jerk.
unnecessary.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was undermining what we were doing.
Yes.
Which is, fighting the man, and we know they control the media, so it wasn't that much of a surprise. But it's fun reflecting on the anti-GMO movement and what we accomplished.
Sure. I remember the first year when we passed out flyers, I'd say about 30% of the people we spoke with had ever even heard of a GMO.
I wouldn't even give that much.
That's funny you say that, because right now when we're talking about it, I was thinking, oh, should I pause her and explain what a GMO is? But I don't think I have to.
Not anymore.
No, we have Google now.
Yeah.
We had it then, too. That's how we learned. But they didn't know, apparently.
Nobody knew. Everybody we would talk to, you know what I mean? And a lot of people argued back with you, but now they don't. Everyone's pretty convinced.
I think so, too. But it was interesting, by the next year that we did the march again, and we were passing out flyers, it was the opposite. About 30% of the people we encountered didn't know.
Yep.
So we made huge strides in educating the community.
I mean, when you guys started that, I can't say we. When you guys started that, you
can say we when you were part of it, too.
There was no organic food in the grocery store. And now there is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
There's a choice for everything organic in every grocery store. It's great.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like... People say you can't change things, but I know that we did.
We did. We really did. Here's an example. At one point, there was such a high demand for organic corn that they started having to import it.
Wow. That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And now, those companies that were so resistant in the beginning, Cheerios, Girl Scout cookies. There's non-GMO Girl Scout cookies.
Is it really?
Yeah. I don't think all of them. I think just some of them.
There are some options, though.
I think they have one flavor.
That is amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah. It's good. And as much as I hate corporations,
when they buy in on it,
well, it's important that they buy in on it, because once they buy in on it, that's when the whole system changes, because they're the ones that are producing this crap, and if they change, then everything changes, and the only way they change is if we hurt their pocketbook, and that's what we did.
What really stuck with me was Jeffrey Smith, when he talked about the 3% shift. Like, if you could just get 3% market, a profit decrease, that's going to cause them to wake up and say, hey, what's going on? And that's the tipping point, right? That caused them to start having to provide those options, or else they're going to lose money to the companies who are.
And that's so exciting about that. It was a completely 100% consumer-driven movement.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things that we talked about and we campaigned a lot about was voting with your dollar. And, I mean, that's evidence.
Yeah, absolutely. With everything. And we're even seeing, because people are, using their dollars wisely, and they're buying into, even though I read a horrible article about it, they're buying into these greener products, which are better for the planet and better for us. And just the fact that stuff exists now is... Oh,
it's great.
It's so awesome. It's beautiful. And it really gives me hope. I don't have much hope these days in humans. You know what I mean? But when I think about it and take, step back and just reflect on everything that the GMO movement, how that happened and what has changed since then and how it's still changing, it's just like, okay, there is hope. We can do this. We just need to make sure people understand what's happening. I mean...
I really blame the GMO movement for the whole shift, for the farm to table shift, for more all of that stuff is attributed to everybody starting with organics. To people farming in their backyard now, like everybody I know is like, yeah, I'm growing this or I'm growing that. 5 years ago, nobody was growing anything. Like McDonald's is barely holding on. Who do you talk to anymore that goes, hey, I had McDonald's the other day. If they do, it's very shameful.
Yeah, nobody's admitting it. Nobody's openly admitting it.
I'm glad you said that, because 3 years into this whole march against Monsanto, we started getting burnt out. Fighting the machine is exhausting. And so Jody Mulliver, one of the original founders of our Vegas group, she had this brilliant idea. And it's called the Grow Your Own Festival. Yeah. And ideally, she wanted to see the whole nation do that. Like, let's scrap the whole March Against Monsanto and everybody grow your own. But it's taken a while to carry on. But we had our first event last year. You guys were there.
It was great. I had a great time.
So cool.
It was so
I can't wait to have a booth there with Happy Earth Market.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And we really didn't know. I mean, it was a completely 100% volunteer staff. And we just started putting it out there. And then... Garden Farms came in and was our first sponsor, and then El Dorado Cantina came in.
Nice.
And we had the School of Rock. They had their band out there, and
I remember that. And Vera played.
Yes, Vera played.
Vera and Robert played. Robert was in backup drums. Don't leave Robert out.
And Santiago, did you see him?
We didn't. Only performer we saw was Vera.
Oh my gosh, she's a 14-year-old. Ridiculous, so good. But we had 2,000 people. And we raised a few $1,000s, and we donated it to the various organizations that are empowering the school gardening programs.
And look at that. The school gardening program in Clark County is just exploding. How great is that? I mean, I can go right here to the school, Gordon McCaw, right by my house, and they have a mind where kids can learn how to do their future job, which is bang on rocks. Now
they also can learn how
now
to
they
garden.
can learn how to garden after they're banging on rocks all day.
Yeah.
And that's so exciting. I talked to some of the folks that work at garden farms.
Yeah.
And they are dealing with these kids every day. And a lot of these kids are really poor. And they eat out of boxes. And they have no idea where their food comes from. And it's so interesting.
No relationship to their food.
None at all. And so my aunt did this. So we pulled some beets, this enormous beet, like about a softball-sized beet, out of the Vegas Roots garden. And my aunt, we were going to take it home, feed it to our, eat it and feed the greens to our rabbit. My aunt took it because she's a teacher. And she wanted to take it and show her second graders.
Look at these beets.
Look at this, right. And so, they had never seen anything like this. And these kids, I don't love beets, but every one of those kids in that class wanted to taste that.
Right.
Nice.
Just to see.
I've watched a couple of not just documentaries, even short YouTube stories about community gardens and specifically school gardens, where these kids that would never eat vegetables are going crazy because they have a relationship with their food. They're touching it. They're putting their hands in the soil and they get to watch it grow. I mean, I have my own garden. Just when I get that first tomato, I'm like, it's like watching a kid come out. I'm so excited.
It's all giddy.
They take ownership of it because they help create it.
Well, not only that, but it helps them just understand how it's formed and what it is. I mean, when we get it in a package, you don't have any idea it's even on a plant.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's in a plastic box or whatever. So it's like.
But they also learn how hard it is to bring that to your table because it's real easy to screw up plants. It's real easy to mess up to where you don't get any fruit or vegetables from whatever plant that is. So they're learning really good lessons on the whole thing, the whole full circle.
Right, the whole nature part of it. Yeah, because.
Hey, Chloe, what do you think about growing our own food?
You guys have a garden?
Wait, what?
What do you got growing in your garden?
Mint.
Mint. Yum. Mint keeps the rodents away.
And I'll have mint tea for real this time.
Awesome.
We can make real mint tea.
There's so much excitement.
What else? Broccoli?
Oh, you guys growing broccoli? Does that do well here?
Oranges.
Ooh, you have an orange tree?
Our lemon tree was delicious this year.
Lemons.
Yum. What else?
Kale.
Butter, lettuce, kale.
Yum.
Potatoes.
Chard.
Potatoes.
Chard.
Wow.
Look like you guys got a lot.
Sage. Beets. Yeah.
Sage beets.
Sage beets or just sage and beets?
Sage and beets.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Ice cream.
No. Ice cream should be vegetable, you're right, but it's not.
Avocado with salt and pepper.
Avocado with salt and pepper, that's my favorite too, especially for breakfast.
I really want to eat it for lunch, breakfast, dinner, and every day.
Me too.
Even
Have you ever had
every day and only avocado.
Have you ever had avocado ice cream?
I think you just blew her mind.
You make those?
Wasn't that the Buddha's favorite food too? Avocados.
Okay, that's funny.
She was born on Buddha's lunar birthday.
That's amazing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She is a little Buddha. She's one of the only people I've ever met that I consider a Buddha. She's great. I love Chloe. I love hanging out with her. And
one of my favorite experiences, and I wrote it on her wall. Nicki's got Chloe's own Facebook wall. It's really neat, actually. It's like a story of her life for everybody to interact with, and people post videos and pictures of her and
movies.
And movies. By the way, I loved your movie that you were on.
Did you make a movie?
Yes, with Dre Dre.
Yeah, with Dre Dre.
You did finally find him.
You want to tell them about Dre Dre?
Spoiler alert.
No, I want to tell them about our
And she convinced him to take her to the park, right?
It's only a video. So he was going for a run, and then he saw something. It would be great for a movie. So we did it. I would be like someone in a movie. I would turn around in a chair and be petting a turtle. And then the next time we did it, I said, Dre Dre, take me to the park. and Dre went out the door and running down the stairs.
So after all that, did Dre take you to the park?
Not for real.
No, not for real.
Man, so he owes you one then.
I was following the sticks up, pretending to be a follower, and I was like, "Here, Dre, take me to the park." And then he pretended, and the video was over.
Did you know that you guys weren't going to the park, or did you think you were going to the park afterwards?
We know we weren't going to the park.
You knew that you weren't going to the park?
No.
Oh, you were just being a really good actress then. You knew you weren't going to the park, but you still pretended that you were.
Yes.
Huh. That's
perfect.
Very talented.
Can I tell you something about Dre?
Sure.
So I met him 7-8 years ago in China, and he was like 6 foot something. The kid's very tall, and he's not ideal for doing kung fu, but he had a dream from the time he was a child that he wanted to be a kung fu star.
Yeah.
And so his parents are very supportive of this. So his dad moved him to China, and he practiced in the Shaolin schools. He grew up learning Chinese. He's fluent in Chinese. He can write, he can read, he can speak dialects.
Wow.
He's been on TV shows. He's kind of a little bit famous over there.
Oh, cool.
He does banter, he does comedy, he does magic, he does kung fu shows.
What an interesting guy.
And he makes movies with little girls.
And he's barely 15.
Oh, that's
I even know kung fu.
She has her arms crossed.
All right, jump kick.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh.
Wow. You shouldn't close your eyes when you do that.
So, Nicki, you know kung fu too, right? Aren't you?
I do.
You're a black belt, right?
I'm a black belt in karate. I'm working on my second
Black belt in kempo.
Don't mess
Kempo,
with
yeah.
Nicki.
Nice.
Don't mess with Nicki. She'll beat you up.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Unless, I'm sure you have your breaking point.
Well, there was that parking lot incident.
What parking lot incident? Do tell.
I was Christmas shopping for Chloe this last year, and I did everything wrong. I forgot my reusable bag, so I just had him stick all the presents in the grocery cart. I get outside and I load it into the bags in the dark in the middle of the night. So anyway, a guy walks up to me and he asks me, "You have a cigarette?" Before I can even answer him, he sprays me in the face with pepper spray.
What?
Whoa.
And the smart thing in the situation would have been to run the other way, but no.
Yeah. You were by yourself, no Chloe?
No, Chloe, thank
Okay.
goodness. I was pissed. I was so mad at the guy.
Yeah.
And so I start kicking him.
Yeah.
He sprays me again, I kick him. He sprays me again, I kick him. He empties a whole canister on me, and
What?
I'm still fighting him. So his canister's empty, and I think he was going after my purse. I'm not sure, but he got
You couldn't
close.
see.
No, I couldn't see. He got close to me that I could grab his hood, and I start punching him in the face.
Yeah.
And then logic kicked in, and I thought, I don't know if he has a weapon. I don't know if he has a friend.
Right.
This is really stupid. So I reach in my pocket, set the alarm off on my car, and start yelling for help.
Smart.
And he took off running. He did have a getaway car, and it was a Nissan something. They got in, and some people came to me and brought me some toilet paper to wipe and water to wipe my face off, and called the police. And the police came and paramedics came. And I go, "I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to deal with this. There's no
nothing
remedy."
you can do. Yeah.
Right.
Milk helps a little
Your
bit.
face is just gonna catch on fire.
How long did that last?
It seemed like forever. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking probably close to an hour before I could open my eyes and drive.
Right.
At least I was at my uncle's house.
Yeah.
That's true.
Thank goodness, man.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for that. I would have hated of her to see that.
Uncle Vinny.
But because I've trained for so long, it was instinct.
Yeah.
You know,
Muscle memory.
Yeah,
it just happened.
Absolutely.
You just did it.
Yeah, super.
Where were you
grateful.
kicking him?
I'm pretty sure I was getting him in the gut.
Okay.
But, I was a lot of shape, and it's dark, and I was tired, and I was pissed, and I couldn't see him. Yeah, they're all front kicks. But a couple of my kung fu buddies are like, "Oh, I've been on the other end of your kicks. That guy should have run."
Well, he's probably surprised as hell.
Right?
That's why he kept
My
spraying you.
uncle is a Superman.
He is a Superman, huh?
Yeah.
Uncle Vinny?
Yeah, Uncle Vinny.
Uncle Vinny is awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I wish he would have won the election.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me 3.
If I could have voted in that area, I would have voted for him.
Yeah. He helped my uncle pro bono.
Yeah. No, he's an awesome guy.
Pretty nice of him. He did not have to do that. It's super awesome.
Can we plug him since we're...
Yeah, do it. That's what we're here for.
Do it.
Vincent Jin, he's a defense attorney in town, and he worked as a city prosecutor, so he really knows that end of things and the relationships that he has with the various judges and even the other attorneys. So he's able to get people really fair deals. And he really cares about people. He cares
really
about
does.
justice.
No,
I know
a genuine
for a
guy.
fact he cares about people just for what he did for my uncle and the sincerity and the amount of hours he put into it. And my, bless my uncle, but he put him through a lot and he still did it. And it was super. I'm grateful for his help that he did, and he is an awesome human being.
Yeah,
where people need to be generous like him.
So
and sweet.
You mentioned a promotion company, like briefly. What are you talking about?
Oh,
you're not just an entrepreneur for Chloe's Fairy Cottage.
In my past life, when I was 21 years old, I was leasing apartments and hated my life. I was trying to go to college, and I heard about the Cottage Theater opening.
Mm-hmm.
From a very young age, I really wanted to be a part of the music business. I loved Prince, my trifecta. They were Warner Brothers, Prince, Michael Jackson, Madonna. That was my trifecta of artists. And, I wanted to work for Warner Brothers. And I heard about this venue opening up, and I went over and spoke with the owner. And he said, we talked for a little while. He's like, well, what kind of skills do you have? I'm going to school, studying advertising, marketing. He's like, oh, well, I don't have anything for you. And I said, great, I'll be here every day. And so I get out of my leasing job and come down, and back then I was a cute little thing, and so the boys loved having me around, and I just followed them around and, hey, what's this do? How's this work? What's this for? And they just let me because, girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I did that for about 6 months, and then eventually the owner offered me a job, and so that started my career in the music business, and I worked at the Cottage for 3 years for the owner, and then eventually I became a promoter rep for the out-of-town promoters that were coming to town. And there was a lady who's kind of my mentor, and she taught me about this flyer distribution company, and she had kind of a drug problem and would disappear for a couple days here and there. And one time she disappeared for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden all her clients were calling me, and I suddenly had a flyer business. And
so it just happened by chance.
Totally. But I also worked production. I worked all the big shows that were here during that early 90s. I worked the U2 rehearsals and Paul McCartney rehearsals out at
the U2 out at Sam Boyd, where they called the UFOs.
She said Silver Bowl.
It's the Silver Bowl, yeah. Your old school Vegas, you call it Silver Bowl.
But it's not Silver Bowl anymore?
No, it's Sam Boyd Stadium
now.
Oh, I think it's Silver Bowl. Isn't it Sam Boyd Stadium Silver Bowl?
I think they still call it that.
We do. Yeah, that's all that matters. People from here do.
But my Grateful Dead ticket said Silver Bowl on it.
Why does the Silver Bowl have butts in it?
I don't think it does.
Oh, the Grateful Dead shows. So I only went inside to 1 or 2 of them, but I loved flyering the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, why?
I wonder if we met.
Maybe. Because people are out there free food. I get like vegan burritos and
nice.
Herb, and people offer me beers, and all acid. All kinds of things I got offered.
Anything.
And naked people, and it was just.
It was a fun parking lot.
Freedom.
It was so much fun, and the Lake Mead was even funner. It was so much fun. That's where we think we met, because I came up from California for one of those shows, and she was definitely there. So we were at least in the same aura. You know what I mean?
The other thing, back then, Vegas was so small that when Grateful Dead came to town,
it's a big deal.
You could feel the difference in the city. You could see and smell the hippies. And that's just like when the rodeo would come around, all of a sudden there's all these guys in the cowboys.
Yeah.
It was such a contrast compared to now where they just blend in.
So many people.
Yeah.
You can't see anybody.
So
yeah.
I don't remember, I didn't grow up here, but I do remember when we came here, there was a delineated or a clear difference between Vegas and Henderson and the lake. Like, it felt like it took you forever to get out there because there was desert in between. Now it doesn't feel like that long because it's just all city.
Yeah.
So you start this production company, you start this flyer business. How did you do that? How did where were you sourcing your flyers and all that? You just picked up where she left off and grabbed her sourcing and.
Yeah, pretty much. back then. We made flyers at Kinko's. We cut and pasted and laid them
all
down
DIY and
2:00 in the morning.
Crazy.
That's
because no one was there then, and we had our little Kinko's card.
Did you like band posters? Do you have any of those old flyers that you made?
I've got a huge collection.
Oh, I'd love to see those.
Part of my collection is on display. I think it's still on display at the Flamingo Library right now.
Is it really?
As part of the Cottage collection.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, the Cottage Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Right after she was born, Dan and Melissa came over and went through my flyer collection. And pulled out all the Cottage stuff.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love the internet, but I do miss I do miss flyers. I do miss going to the record store and seeing who's coming and having to go back to the record store to buy my fucking ticket for it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And waiting in line and
The good
hopefully
old
getting a
days.
wristband and hopefully getting a ticket.
Yes.
Like there was something really fun about everything music back
It was
then.
exciting. It
you know?
wasn't so easy
And
either. Everything is so easy now that it's not fun.
And expensive.
And expensive.
Ridiculous expensive.
Vegas concerts are stupid expensive because the same concert I can almost go back home for and pay for a hotel that night and spend the same amount.
Wow.
Yep.
Plus parking.
plus everything.
$20 to park over at the T-Mobile. Unreal.
So they got to pay for that thing somehow.
Unreal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but back then it was just better. Like and you'd go to the record store and everything was mixed up. Like NWA would be sitting right next to Cypress Hill, like Slayer and whoever. Like it was just a great time. I really miss the early '90s a lot. Sometimes when I think about it and the way everybody dressed and the parties and the early '90s were the best.
It was fun.
Those were our days.
Yeah, we were strong.
We are Gen X.
It wasn't supposed to do anything.
Right.
So you were asking me a little bit about like how I got the flyers, and later on we evolved into having designed flyers. A lot of my clients I would get just because I was out and about. I worked the shows and I was passing flyers out at the shows, so I was just out and about, and I just basically got my clients that way. But one time I was at a heck was his name? Eminem concert.
Okay.
And I was in the section.
What's his name?
I was in the section that was free, so I was in with like the music industry people, and I was enjoying my show, and this guy that I'd met at a bar a couple months ago came and stood next to me, and he was very drunk. And he stood next to me and just kind of was tapping my shoulder. And it was kind of funny at the first, but he would get harder, and he just kept like, he was just drunk and having a good time, I guess, but he just was getting kind of aggressive with me, and I looked at him, I said, look, dude, don't do that again or you will regret it. And it's the only other time I use my martial arts. He hit me again, and I clocked him in the gut, doubled him over. And the guys in front of me apparently saw the whole thing go down and were laughing. Like,
nice. Yeah, they're so happy that you stood up for him. To him.
I should have high heels on. Mama doesn't wear high heels.
That would have.
But you should have punched him on the high heel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Kick him with the high heels on, you mean?
That would make him dead for sure.
Well, I didn't want to kill him. I just wanted him to stop punching me. So anyway, the ironic part about it is these guys in front of me, we got to talking and, who are you, what you're all about. And I ended up getting a job out of it.
No way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Doing?
Just another flyer distribution gig,
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Rad.
Oh, I think it's rad. You always put up stuff like, even still, you put up $10 an hour to go flyer First Friday, stuff like that. I mean, you're providing legit income for people who need a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Even my son. Like.
Yeah. I appreciate that you bring that up, because the people that I've met that have worked for me throughout the years, like some of them are still to this day my best friends.
That's really rad.
And I have them come to me and say, I haven't heard from some of these kids for years, and they'll send me an email or call me one day and say, you know what, you gave me this opportunity and I never would have met these bands. And
that's so cool.
That
is amazing.
Cool. And then some of them went on to work in the industry or are in marketing jobs, and
that's
so
cool.
they really got something out of our experience together. Yeah,
that's really great.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, it's all about the forward motion, right?
In the community, absolutely.
Of helping each other, and that's really cool. Chloe, what are you drawing over there?
Oh, you're writing down what we're talking about? Thank you. We'll read it back later.
Do notes. Make sure you do some good edit notes, okay?
Can I talk a little bit more about Chloe's Fairy Cottage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course,
Okay,
of
cool.
course.
I decided I wanted to do that business because I don't want other people raising my kid. My flyer distribution company, because of having a child, I'm not out and about and meeting people and networking the way I used to. So that's kind of fizzled out. Combination of that and social media has really changed that industry for me. I've been searching for something the last couple of years to do differently anyway, and having a child really pushed that package.
Well, that's true. Searching is a good word for it, because I remember you like this. I think this idea started like as a kombucha bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just
And then
evolved. That's what they do, right?
They
It's
totally
so
do.
Weird.
You know what? I was about to pull the trigger on that, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't want to be in this place 24/7
Making kombucha.
No, it's not that. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be like, I had this kid. I want to be a mom.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't want to be married to a business that was going to keep me from being a good mom. And so I made a choice to not do that, and I sat on it for a little while, and it sort of evolved into this Chloe's Fairy Cottage thing. And the idea being is that she could take ownership of it. She could learn about marketing. She could learn about numbers. She could learn about everything.
Business, the whole business.
That is so cool. I never even thought about it that way. Like, I knew the first piece made sense. Like, that's a no-brainer. But the second piece, that's amazing. And she meets a ton of people.
She does.
That's super cool.
She's got fans.
She's famous. I know she's famous. Everybody.
She's destined for greatness.
I'll say, oh yeah. Somebody will go, oh, I'll be talking to a stranger, and oh yeah, do you know Nicki?
Oh yeah, she's the one with Chloe. Or no,
she's got a little girl. Mom. No, I just say she's got a little girl named Chloe. Oh yeah, I do know Nicki, and she's usually got purple hair. Yeah, that's her. Okay, but they know Chloe.
Yeah, I'm just Chloe's mom now.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's a good thing to be.
Yeah. Yes, you are so famous. Well, especially now that you're a movie star.
But it's been fun. You know, in the beginning, I was really focused on the herbs, oils, and teas, and this kind of comes full circle with what you guys are doing. Is not everybody's ready for it, you know.
Yeah.
And so, if I was going to continue to make money or try to live off this, I needed to evolve and
diversify a little bit.
Diversify, yeah. So we added a lot of kitschy things like sunglasses, and we've got those essential oil vapes, which are really cool.
I love them.
Yeah. So
I do love them.
3 new flavors coming.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
Are you trying to source as ethically as possible?
As much as possible. I like to be organic.
Yeah.
As much as possible. I do have some exceptions, and I'll kind of get into that in a minute, because through the evolution of the Chloe's Berry Cottage, so we've been open since August, and we just started off with those 3 basic things and started adding from there. I added stones, and my business doubled.
Like
stones,
gems and stones.
Yeah,
just like wishing stones and things like that.
Yeah, and I really think that energetically people are drawn because of that energy of those stones.
Interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. So then, let's see. So we opened in August. Around September, I was approached about ayahuasca. You familiar? Okay. So for those who don't know, it's a vine that grows in South America.
She did it last night.
You're getting ahead of me.
All right.
That's good. That's good.
Well, let's hear the stories.
Okay, so what is it though? It's a vine.
So it's a vine, and they call it mother. They call it mother because there's the element to it that helps to clear the pineal gland. It helps to give you direct contact with spirit, God. And each person has a different experience when they're on it.
Yeah.
But for example, some people, they say that one night with Mama Aya is the equivalent of 30 days in therapy.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's intense.
These are private gatherings. You just kind of have to know somebody and be invited.
Sure.
There's a shaman and assistants that facilitate the ceremonies, and you take this herb in, and my first experience was not so great. I was really tired.
Everyone I've heard says that though. Yeah, well, because you don't know what to expect and all those things.
Yeah. And I had a headache, and I was kind of nauseous, and I couldn't keep the medicine down. But it still does its work. It's more on a subtle level. So my second experience was, whoa. At the very beginning, I experienced the vines coming around me and enveloping me. And so I'm like in this base of a tree.
Oh, wow.
And as this tree, I'm looking at this tree, and there's all these hundreds and thousands of faces etched into the wood, and they're like the elders of the plant medicine. And this beautiful like bird lady came to me, and like a bird man, and like the keepers of the medicine. And these faces were like, they were greeting me like, hey, welcome, we're so excited.
And you just knew, you had a feeling that's who these people were.
Yeah.
Like you just knew that's who they were. You don't.
Like they wanted me
Nobody
to feel
told
safe.
you or kind of influenced you to think that's just what you felt.
Was it as real as me and you sitting here?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
That's cool.
And so after they made me feel welcome and made me feel calm, the vine started reaching into me and pulling stuff out of me.
Like resentments and things like that?
I don't know what it was, but it physically hurt. They went all down my left side, like from around my breast down to my like hip bone. Okay. And that was like my first period of this first one. And the second one, you drink more medicine, and then I really went there. And at some point, I just started crying. Like sobbing, and I observed a black winged being crawl out of me. And I get the sense that that being had been with me since I was 14. And that being, whatever it was, represented the depression that I've carried with me since I was 14. And I kind of remember dabbling in witchcraft and Ouija board and things like that. And I'm pretty sure that that was
something in it.
Part of it.
Some dark energy that you were just storing.
Yep, that had been hanging out with me. And the time after, after the ceremony, the feeling that I had afterwards was like, wow, that's gone. And I remember asking the assistants the next day, I'm like, do I get to keep this?
The feeling?
And they just smiled at me like,
that's yours.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've done another ceremony since then. It actually, you can hallucinate and have some really beautiful visuals. And
great.
I experienced that. I saw basically the Matrix in the walls. Yeah, like from the movie, like what that looked like. And
weird.
Yeah.
Did it make you dizzy or anything?
To an extent, I really had to stay centered to keep myself from vomiting because, but I also saw sacred geometry moving and rolling and.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that.
So
Does
beautiful.
what's always scared me is everything you're talking about right now. Was there ever a time during the trip where you're just like, fuck it, will this please just stop now? You know what I mean? And you just wanted it to be over with.
The only thing that I would say that is just the physical sensations. Like, who likes to vomit?
Nobody. Yeah. I understand.
And so you don't necessarily just say, oh, I'm going to puke. I mean, it builds sometimes. And as she mentioned, I did have a ceremony last night, but the one that I did before that was very unsatisfying. I didn't purge. I didn't have the release that I was looking for, and I've been angry for like 2 weeks.
Is that normal?
I don't know. I mean,
what does the shaman say?
They say that the medicine meets you where you are.
Where it needs to.
You don't necessarily integrate everything right away. Sometimes it takes days. Sometimes it takes months, years even. So I spent the last 2 weeks being really angry. And another friend invited me to do a combo ceremony. Are you familiar with that one? This is, combo is a frog from South America. And he has no known predators because he's toxic. So no one wants to eat him because they'll die. Even if a snake accidentally gobbles him up, he's going to spit him right out and then he's going to die.
Oh, wow.
So this frog just wanders around the Amazon like, dude, whatever.
Like he's the shit.
He's the shit. No one messes with him. He's not scared of anything. So they harvest his venom. And then they use incense and burn holes in your flesh, just like a superficial burn. Then place that poison on those burns.
Wow.
And what happens is that goes into your system, like within 10 seconds, you're getting hot, your heart starts beating, like you're
Jeez,
feeling
that sounds scary.
It's an intense feeling. It's a really intense feeling. And then within usually very short amount of time, you vomit. And beforehand, you drink about 1 liter to 2 liters of water, and that
so you
all
have something to
comes
throw
back
up.
out. Oh yeah. And because it's very dehydrating.
Yeah.
So that, and then there's another ceremony called hape, and it's a type of tobacco. And they kind of blow it up your nose, and it's sometimes it usually makes me puke too. So I did that beforehand.
Burns a little.
Yeah, it does, burns a little bit. And then there's the sanaga, which is comes from a root.
Stings a little.
Yeah, the sanaga really stings.
She's heard this before.
She was there yesterday, and so she was a little bit scared by the process, but she was in and out. Like, you okay, Mom? What are you doing now, Mom? Yeah.
That's very freeing to hear somebody share these experiences with a child. Most adults would hide experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like we had this conversation, and I don't mean to interrupt, but we had this conversation a couple weeks ago about why is it okay for us to ingest this horrible intoxicant alcohol and just get wasted in front of our kids? But we hide weed and we hide those things when those things are harmless.
Maybe we should ask Chloe that. Like, Chloe,
what did you think about my ceremony yesterday?
It was kind of scary.
Why?
The part when she was puking.
Mm.
And mostly it was fun. Like meeting one of her friends.
You met one of her friends? Was she acting silly?
Huh?
Was your mom acting silly?
No, she mostly just did what her friend said. Just gotta write down my stuff.
Thank you.
Sorry, where were you? I think you were right past the part where you got the tobacco blowing in your nose.
Yeah, and so that's a really tense thing, and it's all clearing. Every time you throw up, it's a purging of toxins or emotions or just stuff you don't need, what doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
So the combination of that and the sanaga, and then eventually doing the combo, the frog poison. Afterwards, the anger that I had that previous 2 weeks was intensified, like really bad, and I was just angry, pissed off, taking it out on her, like saying really horrible things to her. And I dropped her off at my friend, and I'm just like, gosh, I'm a horrible mother.
Of course you aren't.
Yeah, we all know better than that. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
House.
You're never going to be the horriblest mama.
Oh, love you. So I drive out to this house that I was invited to do this ayahuasca ceremony at. This house is freaking unbelievable. It's
big.
I don't know if I really want to say where it's at. On the outskirts of town, and it's this huge, gorgeous house that they are converting into a healing space.
Excellent.
So what has happened is they've discovered this other herb, a root from Africa that helps people release themselves from addiction. And it's where they call the ayahuasca mama. They call this one boga, I think it's called. I just learned about it. So, boga. It's the grandfather. And so where mama's like
nurturing.
So this one is like, you're done. So what they're using it for is like severely addicted people, heroin, detox in one day.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Just flushes it out. Crap. That's amazing.
So, right? And so the gentleman that I met at this, he said that he went through that process, but there's no aftercare because, the traditional systems in America, they don't embrace plant medicine.
No, they don't. I mean, they should, but they don't.
They really should. So he found one facility
in
the entire country that does aftercare. And so
aftercare for that detox?
For that particular detox. So he went to his friend and he's like, hey, dude, this is the situation. Like, we should do this. And so they're converting this family home that they've had for 15, 20 years into this healing space. So they've created this vortex. This is so ridiculous. So they've got this vortex in their water system, and it goes through like 10 different filters, and it goes through this vortex, and then they pipe music into it.
Into the water.
So the water is like living water, and it's filtered through copper pipes through the whole entire house. The swimming pool is like a hydrogen peroxide, no chemicals in their swimming pool. Again, music is piped into their swimming pool.
That sounds like an amazing place.
I want to go to there.
Me too. Me too.
Your mouth.
Close your eyes. And hear the music under the swimming pool.
Oh, gotcha. That's awesome.
So what kind of music were they playing?
Like a lot of the tribal medicine music.
Okay, cool.
And the various tribal music that they use in the ceremonies in Peru and South America.
Right.
And like variations that have come out of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, but a lot of the Icaros,
You just said Icaros?
Icaros, it's like Ekaroo or something like that.
The Icar, I don't think
it's like they call it flute music.
But it's different. It's also messages.
Oh yeah.
Because there's sounds too, like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that could be an Icaros, and it's given to the shaman.
Oh, the Icarus is not a band; it's a style.
Right.
I thought you were naming a band.
They refer to it as downloads.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Download music?
No, downloads like from the spirit.
Oh, they're okay.
Like you're downloading into you.
Why don't you just write ayahuasca music?
I'm gonna put downloads from the spirit.
There you go.
Music.
What do you got?
See what comes up.
There.
Reprogramming.
Downloads from the music.
Yeah, I don't know, baby.
So the ceremony I did last night was the 6th one I've done.
Okay.
The other 5, there was a man, there was a shaman, and he's got this beautiful music, and he orchestrates his whole ceremony kind of like a concert, and the music is just, like I hear it in my head, and it's just so good.
Just brings back that good place.
Yes, exactly. And I've tried to, they don't record it. I'm like, dude, you got to record this. Some of it's recorded, but most of it isn't. The ceremony I did last night was overseen by a woman. Energy was totally different.
Better, worse, different?
Different and awesome.
Okay.
Because it's that gentle mama energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got the healing I was looking for, like that anger.
It helped.
that I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
Like I went really deep. She asked me like, how much do you want? And I said, she said 1 to 10. I'm like, give me a 10. I need to go there. She just looked at me and she smiled. And I went there and I'm having this conflict and this argument with the medicine. I'm like, dude, I need to not go back to my life the way it was. I need to have some relief. I need to have sanity and release this anger. A little bit of clarity. Yeah, totally. And that was actually my intention, was profound self-love, clarity, and abundance.
So before each ceremony, do you set an intention? Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you write it down, or is it just something they ask you to think about?
Depends on it's very spiritual. Okay. Very spiritual intentions.
Right.
It seems like too powerful a thing to be recreational. Right. That's what I've always thought about it. Like there's no doubt to me at all that ayahuasca is what they say it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's a ceremony. I mean, why would you something like that?
Why would there have been, the last 3,000 or 4,000 years have they been using this
as medicine?
As medicine, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, I was watching this ayahuasca documentary, and a lot of times the way the way that they do it down in Brazil, right?
South America. Peru seems to be the big place.
Is that the shaman takes it and then interprets his vision to you.
That's funny that you say that, because the first time I did it, when we woke up the next morning, we have a sharing circle and everybody shares the experience, and I was kind of horrified to learn that the shaman and everybody else had been doing the medicine too. And I'm like, holy crap, dude! What if something gone wrong? What if?
Right.
But he said, how can we meet you where you're at if we're not on the same level?
Exactly.
Right.
And they're conscientious about it. Like they don't drink an ounce. They drink enough to bring them to a level where
enough to understand what you're going through. Actually, that makes a ton of sense.
It's probably their way of saying, I'm a professional.
I got this.
So to bring it full circle, it's been really interesting because I did this back in October, and it's integrated into Chloe's Fairy Cottage. So we started carrying some of the products, like the flower waters that come from Peru. It's flower water. And I found this company. It's really interesting. They're a 200-year-old company, American company.
What?
Yeah, that sells this. But no American people just don't know about it. They brought these.
What is the name of the company?
I don't even remember.
It's okay.
Yeah. But they brought these formulas over from France 200 years ago and been selling them here. And you know who knows about it?
Who's that?
People from South America. Chinese people.
Of course. Yeah.
Foreigners know about it.
They buy it from them.
Yeah, pretty much. And so the only people that aren't foreigners that know about it are people who have done ceremony.
Well, herbal medicine and any ceremony like that has kind of been taken out of the American culture a long time ago. We've really focused on just being straight-laced Christians for a long time. Stay inside the box and be a good little American who goes to work every day and goes home every day and pays your bills and pays your taxes and doesn't listen to music that's too bad.
Right. Thank you.
But I love watching the evolution of everybody starting to step out of these boxes and experiment with other.
Not just experiment, but be open
to the experience.
Not just that, but open to hearing others' experience with it. So that just changes the whole idea of what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And that opens up dialogue and the whole nine, and we can actually see what it does. What's the benefit?
I have never done anything like that, but what I have done out at the bonfire, the bonfire that we go to at every full moon or every new moon, we had hung out with some people for a bit, and they asked us just, hey, they just all out of nowhere said, hey, come sit in the meditative position. And I had some things alter my mind, I'm not going to lie. But I sit in the meditative position, and a friend of ours comes up with his didgeridoo and blasts the 5 notes across my back 5 times in a row. And each and every single time I literally watched the universe flip with inside my brain to the point where I was getting ready to throw up. Like, it was like right out. And then it was super intense. And then after he was done, everybody left, and I sat there meditating. And when I got up, there was nobody around me. There was 30 people doing this with me, including Sam. And when I got there was literally no one left. And I had experienced this whole thing, and it literally changed the way I view the world in general.
Something that simple that just kind of sent you to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it was super intense, and I've never felt anything like that before. What's up, Chloe? You got something to say?
She does. She wants us to ask her questions. Hey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Let me tell you something first, though. Your mom?
Yes.
I think she's a really, really, really awesome, fun amazing mom.
Only upset when she yells at me.
Well, you're still a kid.
Yes. Kids get yelled at, pretty much.
That's it.
Sometimes.
That's it.
My kid got yelled at.
Spanked me once.
Only
In your
one
whole
time?
life?
Only once.
That's good.
Wow, that's really good.
Record.
Yeah, that's gotta be a record.
Yippee.
Whatever. She's being nice. It's all right.
You know, you're raising Chloe differently than most kids in the United States are raised. Can you kind of explain that and the freedom that you give her to be around people? And it's really amazing, and I love it. And I love the idea that the tribe raises the kid, but it's not the stereotypical way to raise a kid. So, can you elaborate a little bit?
I didn't want to have kids.
Okay.
First of all.
And she only wanted me.
That's right.
I only wanted you. When I found out that I was pregnant with her at 40, I cried for 3 months.
Aw.
While she was inside laughing.
You keep those sound effects up.
I didn't want to be a soccer mom. I didn't want to have to conform to what life expected of me. I'd never done that in my entire life.
Right.
Well, after my 20s, I should say. And so now all of a sudden I have this little person growing in me that's going to rely on me. And I just, I was at a loss. And I met a few parents that were unconventional, artist-type families. And they were both the same night at my friend's Christmas party, an artist Christmas party. And I just took a deep breath and I'm like, oh, they're not soccer moms. They don't even have a van. And then one of my best friends said to me, she said, you've written your own book your entire life. Why would parenting be any different?
That's for sure.
And so then I realized, well, gosh, I don't have to do this the way everybody else is
Their
doing
way,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And I looked around at the parents, and one of the things I despise about children is they're hideous.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they're hideous is because they're not being parented.
Yeah.
They're being put in front of televisions or devices or sent off to school. And
I don't do that much.
No, you don't.
and I just see something really inherently wrong with that.
Yeah, totally.
They don't seem to get any adult attention.
They don't. There's no connection between the parent and the child. It's just all rah, 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 rah.
Right.
No, they just always wanted to be cool. And here, we'll play on my iPad then. Play on my phone.
Yeah.
What's always amazed me about the way you've raised Chloe so far is even when she was a baby not talking, you were still talking to her like she's just a little human, not necessarily a baby, just a little human, you know, and she's brilliant. Chloe, can you speak another language?
Chloe,
Hey, say something to me in a different language.
Say hello, Auntie, in Chinese.
Ni hao, nai nai.
Well, she called you Grandma. But
Oh, well, I am old.
so I feel like
It's amazing that she's 4 years old, not 5 yet, and she can speak 2 languages.
not quite. She's got some phrases, and she understands more than she speaks.
That's
but
more than I know.
That's a lot.
And understanding
That's
is
a lot.
important.
Yeah.
I mean, and I wish all parents were like you because you're doing it right.
Thank you.
You really are.
Thank you.
And I know that I know that people judge you.
Oh, for sure.
Because Chloe's a kid, and she totally acts like one, but she's not.
I know more than I speak Chinese.
Oh, good.
Well, that's good. So you understand it more than you speak it.
That's important.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So you can tell when people are talking about you. But she's such a free-spirited kid, and you just allow her to be free. You don't confine her. Like, she can't help it that we're in an environment where it's not allowed, only because the parents aren't allowing that.
Oh, it's, yeah. You better put your kid on some medicine.
Yeah,
right. Don't, yeah.
Well, and I get a lot of grief from people because I bring her with me everywhere I go. I mean, she's here with me today and driving me crazy right now. But
I would expect nothing less.
I mean,
you're a package deal.
You are Chloe's mom, after all. We've already established that.
And the people listening to the show are just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. I'm sure they're loving it anyway.
And I try to spend time with people that are okay with
Jumping off the wall.
You don't have to, though, because you're doing it right. I think, from my perspective,
Jumping off the wall. Jumping off the doors.
So silly.
she's very imaginative, and That's not something that I see anymore in kids.
She's also super kind-hearted, right?
Oh, no, she's a complete Buddha. No. Yeah, my
Like,
favorite time with Chloe was at the farmer's market that one day.
And we kidnapped her for a little while?
Yeah. She helped this old lady who was running a booth whose box fell over, and she just ran right over there. She
sprinted up there and started picking up her stuff.
She picked up all her stuff. Do you remember doing that? You probably don't, because you do acts of
do
kindness all the time. You're just a kind being.
Jumping off the booby.
She's also very silly.
Yeah,
well,
that's
she's a
good.
kid.
She's a kid.
Jumping off the nose. Jumping off the curtain. Jumping off the shower. Jumping off the microphone. I'm
going to turn this into a beat if you're not careful.
Right? It's definitely going to happen. You don't have to shut her up. They're going to make music out of this later.
Were you ever reclaimed on the nights when she got up on stage?
Yes, absolutely. A couple times, yeah.
So I'm saying she's amazing. She's a cool kid. I don't know too many kids that are like, I don't know any kids that are like her, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
She's
off the sign.
smart. She's smart in a way that a lot of kids aren't. They just aren't.
All right, well, all of them are smart in that way.
The
But what I mean by smart, I mean like, her making conscious decisions about her food, for example.
Yeah.
That's something that should be taught naturally, and you're doing it naturally. You know what I mean?
I got so much
just by your
grief about that too.
About letting her make her own food choices?
No, like when she was little, the way that I did baby-led weaning as a
I don't know what that
philosophy
is.
out of Germany, where you feed them real food instead of mush or whatever. So I would steam sweet potatoes.
Okay.
Cut them up, and she just
suck on them and yeah.
Our favorite.
When I was eating
the avocado. I've got some great pictures. Maybe I'll send you some. You can post them.
Okay.
The avocado face. She would. So we go to restaurants, and I would bring our own food, and her favorite was avocado, and she'd just be all over her face,
all over my hands, all over my arms.
Oh yeah, she was a hot mess.
All over my legs, all over my teeth, all over my ears,
all over everything.
all over my hair.
Oh, she's not going to be able to hear this though, but this is Chloe's song.
Okay, Chloe, you want to hear this?
Oh yeah, you like this song? You want to sing it?
It's your song.
Oh, it's my song.
She's like, don't lie, Mom. It's your song. It's over. Thank God.
Why can I hear you?
It's over. We turned it off.
Why? Turn it back on.
Okay, one more time. Ready?
Yes.
Are you going to sing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Avocado. Peel, peel the avocado. Peel, peel. Peel, peel the avocado. Quack, guacamole. Quack, guacamole. Quack, 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 booty. Okay, this is so funny. I can't believe I said peel the booty.
Peel the booty.
Okay, peel the hair. Peel the stink butt. Peel the face. Peel the curtain. Peel your
So much to
butt.
peel.
So much to peel.
So much to peel.
Well, you got anything else you want to talk about? We got a good hour and 30 minutes on here. Yeah.
Do you have any
Can we talk about avocado, Emmy?
We talked about avocado.
We've talked about avocados a lot on this episode.
Talk about me.
Talk about you? Well, what's your name?
Chloe.
Where are you from?
America.
Okay, that's a good answer.
That's a good one.
What's your... Yeah, you can give her those. Let her borrow those while she's on. Here we
Okay,
go.
I see.
Yeah, now your mom's officially not on the show now. You've gotten the mic and the headphones.
Just you.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you're from America. What is your favorite song?
Shake it off.
Shake It Off.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What's your favorite movie?
Wink.
Do you got a question for her, JR?
She's like, no.
It's a little kid movie.
What?
Okay.
You wouldn't know.
I'm a little kid.
What's it about?
With a beard.
What's Winx
No,
about?
you're a grown-up.
What's Winx about?
It's about the tricks. 3 girls and our main and are trying to rule the world.
Rule the world.
Rule the world?
Yes, these.
Hey, Chloe. How are we gonna save the world?
Well, the Winks are.
The Weeks are gonna save the world?
The Winks.
The Winks. But how are we gonna save the world? The real world, not the cartoon world.
Magic powers?
Magic powers.
That's a good idea.
Where do we get the magic powers from? Can we ask some fairies for that?
Ayahuasca.
She can hear you.
Oh.
No, they're inside you. You just need help to find them.
How do you?
How do you find them?
How do you find them?
You need someone to help you. I already got my magic power.
What is your magic power?
Hurting powers?
What? Farting powers?
Farting?
Lightning powers.
Lightning powers. Oh. Well.
Oh.
Oh. That's awesome.
Like a Sith Lord.
Do you dream?
Nope.
Never?
It's for real, though.
I don't mean your powers. I mean, do you ever have dreams when you go to sleep?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was the last dream you remember?
Well, I can't eat them. But I don't have Peter Pan dreams anymore.
Well, that's a good thing, I guess. You didn't like your Peter Pan dreams?
I do, but I just don't have them anymore.
Maybe you got too old. Peter Pan never grows up. Maybe you're too old for him now.
Uh-oh.
Did you ever think of that? Maybe you got too old for Peter Pan now.
Did you get to go hang out with the Lost Boys?
Or maybe it's because I didn't watch Peter Pan yet.
Oh.
Yet.
Well, then how do you know what you're talking about?
Because I had those dreams.
The magical
before.
powers.
You dreamt of Peter Pan before you even knew of him?
I already knew of him. I just needed to watch it, and then I had those Peter Pan dreams.
What do you think of Donald Trump as president? Why does that make you mad?
Because he's so mean.
Is he mean? What's the meanest thing you think he's done?
He sprayed himself with the stuff. It makes people think he's been in the sun too long. That's the meanest thing. I think he's fake.
You think he's fake?
No, I think he's fake.
Fake skin?
That was a good joke, Chloe. That was amazing.
No, I swear that's not a joke.
Oh.
That's the real deal Holyfield.
Okay.
Why can't I hear you guys?
Why do you hear us? Because you got your headphones on so that we could all hear each other.
Holy moly.
What was that?
Holy moly.
You should sing. Sing something with this amazing.
He's making her voice echo.
Can you sing something? This lit fire burning up the way. If I can hit the world in this one way, watch this minute burning up the way. None can be just like anyone. No, anyway. This lit fire. Hey.
Nice. That was great.
I'm going to make all this stuff you made into a song.
Okay.
I am.
Why?
Why?
Yes!
She likes the echo.
The echo is fun.
It's loud.
Because it's all fake. It's all fake.
It's magic.
It's magic.
Ow!
Our magic power is turning sound into things. But we didn't really end the show.
That was, well,
That's fine.
here.
Do you want to wrap up?
Yeah.
I do.
We need to finish this, so they need to ask me a few more questions, and then we'll be all done.
And I need to get some other stuff from your mom. So can you give us 10 minutes?
Okay.
Thank you.
You want to do this?
Yay!
Okay, but will you do it over there so we can't hear it?
But first I need to write down the notes.
Lots of notes.
Lots of notes.
Because you guys did a lot.
So, do you have any advice for entrepreneurs?
Listen to your heart. Be scared and do it anyway.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. That's awesome. I love that answer. Yay.
Well, we thank you so much for taking the time to come out here. We know you're busy. We know you're doing this business. We know Chloe Cottage keeps you busy. I see you every day on Facebook doing things. So we really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. It was fun. Sorry it took me so long to get out here.
No,
it's okay.
Don't be sorry. You can come on again, and we won't talk like this. Maybe we'll talk Earth stuff next time.
Yep.
Something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I love
Awesome.
you.
I
am
you too.
so grateful that you're in our life, and I'm so grateful you're part of the market, because without you, I mean, it's for you. So without you, it doesn't exist. So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to know you and have your wisdom and your experience, because you have a lot of knowledge that you can give us that we need. So
thank you.
I'm so grateful for you, and I love you.
Love you too.
And you're so fucking rad at being a mom.
Thank you.
Fuck all of them that say otherwise. I tell you what, girl, you just kung fu on them. Because I know better, and Chloe's going to be one of the amazing adults that are going to fix things, I think, because she's got you as her mom. So
I hope so.
it's awesome. No, I believe so.
Chloe, come here a minute. Come up here one more time. Can you say, I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy Earth Market Podcast?
I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy Earthcast.
Close. I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy Earth Market Podcast.
I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy Earthcast.
Close. Earth Market Podcast.
Earthmarket.
Earth.
Get perfect.
So happy. So it's happy.
Happy
Earth
Market
Podcast.
Yep. I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy Earth Market Podcast.
I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy
Earth
Market
Podcast.
Okay.
Try it one more time.
One more time. You got this. Come on, actress.
You got it. Happy Earth Market Podcast. Let's do it a few times. Happy Earth Market Podcast. Happy Earth Market Podcast.
Okay, I'll try. Okay. I'm Chloe, and you're listening to Happy Earth Market Podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hold on, don't take those off.
Great.
Look at me. Say cheers.
Yay!
Cheers.